Welcome back to my channel Value Infinity. In today's video, we'll be dealing with the part 2 of our life energy series, in which we'll be dealing about our second and third life energies. We'll take a real deep dive into it and also we'll give a beginner's guide how to strengthen them naturally. So stay tuned. If you are watching this video to have a deeper understanding of your health conditions, or maybe you want to improve your health and lifestyle, then I would highly recommend you to watch the previous video in this same video series. I will put a link here. Now let's dive into the second pranic energy which evolution has given you, and that is your digestive fire, which is called Agni. Agni literally means fire in Sanskrit, and as most of us would have already felt, like whenever you eat a heavy meal, or maybe you don't eat for a certain period of time, you feel a certain kind of burning sensation in your stomach, and that's directly related to the Agni. Now Agni can be directly related to your strong stomach acid which is available in your stomach, and this is the most important tool which nature has given you, because a stronger stomach acid will make sure that you don't overpopulate on any of the specific good bacteria or maybe bad bacteria. It also makes sure that your food is properly broken down, and the electrolytes and the other molecules are dissociated properly. Even the medicine you take needs a stronger acid for it to break down, because most of the drugs are prodrugs. Like you take a pill which is enteric coated, it goes inside, then gets dissolved because of your stomach acid. And if you have a weak stomach acid, you'll find that even most of the medicines don't work as properly as it should. So this is actually one of the most important tool which every single one of us should focus on. And the stomach acid which the evolution has given has a pH range of maybe 1 or 2. So in my personal experience, what I've seen is, like, most of the people, because of their usual diet style and also because of taking a lot of unwanted medications, pills, people take electrolytes, just like they're popping some electrolyte powders into water and they just take on a very regular basis. I don't say that it's not good, but what you need to understand is the more electrolytes and more alkaline food you put into your stomach, the lesser the strength of acid gets. So rather than you becoming more hydrated, you may find that you have reduced the acids level to such a lower levels that your electrolytes are not properly breaking down to give you the benefits of those electrolytes. So it's very important that you maintain your stomach acid levels. Now let's talk about the symptoms of a weak Agni. I would just put it here. Now let's see how to strengthen your Agni. It's already there in the nature. Like whenever you keep any food in a brine, or maybe you keep it to ferment for a certain period of time, it becomes sour and it starts tasting like vinegar, or maybe it starts tasting like acid. And that's the exact reason why our ancestors and forefathers used to include a lot of foods which were fermented, like pickles, like sauerkraut, maybe kimchi, or there are so many other forms of fermented foods which our ancestors used to consume. They all had one thing in common: they were all very acidic and not alkaline. And there is a strong reason for it, because all these acidic fermented foods supports and strengthens your Agni energy. So the answer to the question that how to strengthen Agni lies in a very simple method which your ancestors, or maybe your own culture, wherever you live in across the world, your culture might have had certain kinds of fermented foods, like you ferment it for maybe fermented meat. So they all have higher levels of acids which make sure that you increase your acidic pH inside your gut. And that was how they used to manage a very strong Agni, consuming such kinds of diet. So my request is, wherever you live in across the world, your culture might have had certain kinds of fermented food which is fermented for maybe 7 to 10 days, not the ones which is fermented overnight. They too have, but it's at a much lower level. Something which is fermented for maybe 10 days and above will have a very strong level of acids, and that will also strengthen your. So you just have to see what were your forefathers used to, consume, the fermented foods, and just follow those. You don't have to follow a tradition which was not prevalent in your specific region. You just have to follow whichever is prevalent or whichever was used by your forefathers. You can just straight away start doing it, and you will find that there is a magical, shift in your energy levels, the way you digest your food, the way you assimilate, and there will be a magical shift throughout your experience. Let's summarize this Agni energy. So one thing you need to keep in mind is you always have to keep a higher, that is a lower pH of 1 to 2 in your stomach. So let's say like you consume a lot of alkaline food throughout the day. Make sure that you consume a slightly more acidic food in between those meals. Like you can consume apple cider vinegar, which is most commonly used and considered as a magical drink across. And it is indeed a magical drink, and I would highly recommend. Like you've come across any kinds of ailments related to your gut, go for it. I'm telling you, magical results. I healed immensely out of just consuming apple cider vinegar. But just keep one thing in mind, that all these energies, they work in relation to each other. So you just cannot do one of the energies on a higher scale and not focus on the others. Like maybe I'm not able to explain it properly. Like you will have to make sure that you work on 2 to 3 energies maybe in a balanced fashion, or you take one energy and go slow about it. Don't go, like today you eat a very alkaline food and tomorrow you take a very high acidic food, then your body will not be able to adjust to it. So what I would suggest is take a very small quantity. Like if you're beginning with apple cider vinegar, take just half a lid, which is maybe 5 ml of apple cider vinegar along with water. Like take 5 ml of apple cider vinegar and fill the glass with water and drink it. You can use a straw if it affects your teeth. Just use a straw and it will be very palatable. You can straight away gulp it. Make sure that you drink it at least thrice or 4 times in a day, or you can just carry it along with you and drink whenever you feel that you're eating too much of alkaline food, or maybe you are consuming frequently, some snacking is going on. This will really help in digestion and also make sure that your Agni is very strong, and it will help you in digestion as well. So now let's dive into the third life energy, and that is Tejas, which means the inner fire of intelligence. That is your body's intelligence. And this could be divided like into the functionalities and all the voluntary and involuntary actions which your body performs. The intelligence of your body, basically. It exactly knows what every cell needs. It exactly knows what are the nutrients to be absorbed, what not to be absorbed and eliminated. So that intelligence is called Tejas. And most of the time, the voluntary part you come to know, because the moment you are not able to move your hand the way you used to, immediately you come to know that there is something wrong in your muscles or maybe your joints. But when when your levels of Tejas comes down, your involuntary functions get affected. So what are the involuntary functions? Is like the breathing, the inhalation when you're when you're sleeping. You never realize that your process is still on. Your heart beating, your digestive process, the peristalsis through which the food is moved downwards, your digestion process, the cells performing, the absorption of nutrient and then elimination of waste. All these, very minute capabilities your bodies have is performed without even you knowing about it. So those energies are highly dependent on the kind of nutrition they get. So this energy is basically everything which you don't know. And how can you strengthen it? Is by, it is largely associated with your Agni. Because once you have a stronger Agni, you will always make sure that your body is able to digest food better and assimilate food better. So naturally, you will assimilate such nutrients which will nourish your Tejas. But as we are looking for something alternative to make sure that our Tejas is strong, Tejas has more association with your nervous system, your brain, your involuntary functions, and all those minute tasks which your body performs without your knowledge. One most important nutrient to strengthen it is the B vitamins and vitamin C, which basically works as a neurotonic. And even in Ayurveda, there is a strong mention about the Vata, Pitta, and Kapha part of it. So Vata has a role to play with Tejas energy. So how can you strengthen your B vitamins is by strengthening your gut microbiome. And I'll not go very deep into the part of handling with the gut microbiome, because it's a very deep and vast subject, and I have some real insights about how you can really enhance your gut microbiome. That's a topic of a different video, which I'll definitely deal in my subsequent videos. So gut microbiome, in earlier days it was discussed by the doctors also, like whenever you used to take an antibiotic or any other pills to uh, fight against any kind of infections, doctors used to recommend B vitamins along with it, which was there in practice. But as the size of the pharma industry started growing, you know slowly all these practices have been sidelined, or maybe it's been forgotten, because there are a lot of newer pills which address things differently. So doctors have also lost track of prescribing a B vitamin whenever you consume any kind of antibiotics. But my recommendation and suggestion would be, if possible, don't take anything which is synthetic unless and until you have fallen on that specific vitamin below a certain level. Like if it has gone down very low, then definitely the solution is to supplement it with a supplement. But if it is not that low and you just started feeling certain symptoms, then my recommendation would be you can get it through your food. And the best food, again, to address this is fermented foods which are fermented overnight. For example, overnight oats. For example, curd, yogurt, kefir. Kefir, not to that extent, not the ones which are very sour, but yes, the other ones can be taken. Uh, Not a very sour kombucha, but yes, the ones which are, you can take any fermented foods which are fermented overnight, will give you a very high levels of B vitamins. So you can consider consuming beetroots, which are like kimchi, or maybe even sauerkraut. Kimchi has high levels of B vitamins. Make sure that you start consuming, like in Indian tradition we have a habit of consuming rice which is soaked in water overnight. And in certain northern communities, what they do is they have like kanji, which is fermented vegetables and vegetable juices. It's kept overnight and then it's consumed. Kanji it's called, I guess. So that's the way forward to strengthen your tejas. I'll put a detailed list of symptoms, how to identify that you have a weaker tejas. In my next video, I'll be talking about how plants synthesize protein out of thin air. And why I chose this topic is because, like, plants have the capability to convert protein from whatever available sources of nutrients, which is given by the evolution to the plants. Similarly, evolution has also given such capabilities to human beings to convert nutrients out of whatever we consume. And that is actually a real magical feature or tool which evolution has given us. So irrespective of where we stay, where we are from, we have the capability to synthesize whatever nutrients our body needs. So stay tuned for our next video. Do comment below if you could find which life energy you were low in, or if you know someone who has an imbalance with their life energies and they would require my support. Do comment below, because I personally read all the comments and try to answer and address each and every single comments. Friends, if you found this video informative and if you could learn something from my content, then please do consider subscribing to our channel Value Infinity, and also like and share to your family and friends, as they could also get benefited out of our content. Thanks for watching.